Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Paula from Paula's DIY Decor, and I'm the crafter from Down Under. Today I'm really excited to share with you this beautiful chinoiserie inspired floral swag. It's a gorgeous floral swag you can hang on your door, on your window, or anywhere through your home. I have two DIYs today, and for my first DIY, I wanted to share with you how I made this beautiful chinoiserie inspired ribbon. Now it's really hard to find patterned ribbon here in Australia, so I thought I'll just make one. Now I had some white burlap ribbon and I had some blue paint, just regular blue acrylic paint, and this is a stencil that I've had for a very long time in my stash back in my card making days, and I thought, well, I'm just going to create a blue and white chinoiserie inspired ribbon by simply painting on the design to the burlap. Now because the burlap is quite porous, it took the paint really well, so it was quite easy for me to just use my brush and then just gently dab it onto the stencil. And you'll see me here, I just dabbed all the way down the ribbon using the blue paint straight onto that white burlap, and it turned out absolutely fabulous. Now, making your own ribbons is actually a really great way to complete the design of any of your projects. This is the second time I've done my own ribbon making. Unfortunately, I lost some of the footage. I thought I was recording and I actually wasn't recording. So all I did was I lay my design on one side of the ribbon, and then I repeated the design on the opposite side of the ribbon so that I had a beautiful blue and white design. But you can create any ribbon with any colour paint, any stencil, or you can just use polka dots, get the back of your brush and make all sorts of different designs. Really, the world is your oyster when it comes to designs for your ribbon. You just need to make sure that your ribbon is porous enough to take the paint and allow you to create your own custom design. There you have it. It's a beautiful blue and white ribbon. Now for my second DIY, I want to share with you how I made this swag without using a Christmas garland. All I used was a wooden ruler, some 24 gauge wire, some deco mesh, an assortment of ribbons in blue and white, some material that I ended up cutting up to make some more ribbon, all from my stash, upcycled, recycled. Now we are still in lockdown, unfortunately. Yes, we're still in lockdown here. We are going through a terrible time with a resurge of some COVID in Sydney, Australia. So I'm really pushing myself hard to use everything in my stash to create these wonderful, beautiful projects for my home. This method of creating a swag is essentially trying to emulate a Christmas garland swag. Chenille sticks are going to act as a branch for your swag so that you can then adhere and string through your ribbons and your mesh. Now you're going to need 3 chenille sticks per section, with the first chenille stick twisted to the right, the second chenille stick twisted to the left of your stick, and then the third and final chenille stick will be twisted in the center of that first cluster. Then you're going to go halfway down your paint stick or your ruler, your wooden ruler, and you're going to repeat the process again. 1 chenille stick twisted on the left, 1 chenille stick twisted on the right, and 1 chenille stick twisted in the middle. Then you're going to go to the bottom of the stick and you're going to repeat the process again. I also added a couple of extra chenille clusters, stick clusters in between the segments. So in the end, I had 5 clusters of chenille sticks. Now you just saw me putting through 1 more chenille stick through the pre-made hole of my ruler, and that was just in case I might need it for the beginning of my swag. Then I used my mesh. This mesh was actually left over from last Christmas, again in my stash. As I said, I'm really trying to dig deep with what I have in my stash, as we're not allowed to go outside, or we're under home orders, unfortunately. So you're going to take your deco mesh and you're going to create poofs all the way down your ruler, your wooden ruler. And what you want to do is you want to start creating the poofs on the right hand side of your stick, and then you're going to swing around and you're going to create the poofs on the left hand side of your stick. And then you're going to run down the center of the stick. So by the end of these poofs, you're going to have a nice full swag with your poofs starting to fill out and take the form of a normal swag, which you will then be able to decorate with your ribbons and your florals. I did neglect to mention that I had put a dab of hot glue on either side of the chenille stem clusters, just to hold the chenille sticks into place and to stop them from moving around. Next, we're going to start putting together our ribbon clusters. What you're going to do is you're going to lay out your ribbons the way you like them. I had 6 different designs in my ribbon stash. I had dark blue, cobalt blue, I had some more white burlap ribbon, and of course the beautiful DIY we just made of our homemade blue and white ribbon. And what I did was I cut 3 sets of ribbon down into about 9-inch lengths, and then I arranged them into 2 different designs. What I did was I put them on top of each other, so I had 3 different types of ribbons, and I simply layered them on top of each other to start to create some ribbon inserts into the swag. If you're liking this video, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so that you can be alerted every time I upload a video. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. I love doing a range of different home decor crafts and DIYs. And if you're coming back as an existing subscriber, thanks so much. I really appreciate the comments you leave me. They really do brighten my day, and I hope you're well and truly inspired by some of the things that I make that you can easily make using your things and your stash at home. So here you can see me, I am actually upcycling some Chinoiserie inspired blue and white fabric that I had used to make a table runner. And I thought, well, I'll cut it down and I'll make some ribbon. So again, using the same length of ribbon as I had used for my others, I cut down those strips of material to make some faux ribbons. Now don't forget to dovetail the edges of all of your ribbons. It just makes your projects finished and gives you that nice professional finish. So here you can see me taking my layered ribbon and I'm inserting it into the swags, into the opening of the chenille stems. Now I did lay down these ribbons 3 on each side, so I did leave some of those chenille stems vacant because I intend to use some of those chenille stems that don't have the ribbons to actually adhere and put together and secure some of my florals. So make sure that when you are inserting your ribbons to put them really deep into the swag so it looks like the ribbon is just growing out of your swag. It just creates a nicer finish. I really like it, and it's really starting to come together. Next, I decided to use a floral garland. I'm afraid that I lost this footage. Again, I thought I was recording and I wasn't. And I just used the chenille stems to fix the floral garland into the swag. Now, the great part of this swag is this centerpiece. I decided in the last minute that I thought that the swag needed a little bit more pizzazz, especially I wanted a central focal point to the swag, and I remembered that I had this half-size birdcage that my daughter had given me for Christmas. It came inside with a whole bunch of body creams and soaps, and it was beautifully packaged in this birdcage, and I didn't throw it away, thank goodness, because it was a great way to upcycle and recycle as part of this DIY project. So using this birdcage, I simply inserted some white floral foam, and then I cut up some of my florals, again, that I had in my stash. These florals actually came from my blue and white summer decor series. I'll put the link in the description below. And I just cut down some of my florals. As you can see, I had some white hydrangeas. I'm using some cream peonies. I use a range of light blue wispy flowers to give it a little bit more of a romantic, earthy kind of floaty feel, and it really started to come together. I also had some blue hydrangea which I cut down just so that it was more in the size of this bird cage, and I just put the floral arrangement wherever I thought it looked pretty. You just go ahead and put it wherever you think it looks good for your decor. I like playing around with my designs. I'm not a florist. I just put my flowers wherever I think they look pretty, and I think it's really starting to come together. I'm really pleased that I thought about using this birdcage because it's kind of interesting, and I think it's going to look really chic and really pretty. So here you can see me adhering the birdcage onto the swag. So use those chenille sticks, we've got plenty of them. I just adhered the birdcage using a chenille stick that I had in the center of the swag, and made a couple of knots in the birdcage at the top, in the middle, and at the bottom. And then of course don't forget to fluff out your ribbons as you're going along. Things do tend to get a little bit squished as you're working your project, so make sure that you poof them out and fluff them up as you go along, just to make it a little bit easier later on. Next, I'm putting together a beautiful bow to go on top of my birdcage. Now, the contraption that you can see I am using is my go at making a homemade bow maker. I don't have a real one, and I just made one out of 2 dowel sticks that I put in the center of an old Christmas ribbon insert, and it works perfectly fine for me. So I just cut about 12-inch length ribbons that I had left over, and I made a 2-loop ribbon using all of the ribbons that I had left. Here you can see me using a clothes peg just to hold it together. Again, it works pretty well, even though it looks a bit messy. So you're just going to loop over your ribbon, making sure that you twist, especially if your ribbon only has one design on one side of the ribbon and not the design on the underside. So make sure that you twist your ribbon as you're curling your loops over, so that you have the design of your fabric or your ribbon showing. Here I also cut a longer 12-inch strip of that fabric that you saw me using earlier, just to be the real focal point of this bow. I really love this chinoiserie design for this fabric, and I wanted it to be front and center of my swag. So using my chenille stick, I just tied a knot in the middle of the bow, secured it together, and then fluffed out my bow. Then I took the bow and I used the back of the chenille stem there to secure it to the swag. Now, sometimes with my DIYs, I tend to kind of embellish them as I go along. So when I was creating this swag, after I had put the birdcage up in the middle of the swag, I still thought that it needed something extra. So I remembered that I had made some of my blue and white chinoiserie inspired coasters. I also had made some chinoiserie inspired ceramic balls as well. So I decided to add them to this design. Sometimes I just craft on the go. I get inspired as I'm going along. As you can see there are those beautiful coasters that I decided to adhere to just using some hot glue into the swag. The beauty about having the mesh ribbon is that it makes it really easy to use hot glue to adhere whatever you need to adhere onto that mesh. So it really stuck quite easily and quite securely. I also then used the ceramic balls and I put them around the birdcage and here and there across the swag, and I thought it just absolutely made this swag look unbelievable. I was so excited when it was done. I really think that this swag is stunning. It's gorgeous. It's really brought my whole idea of a chinoiserie inspired swag to life. I hope you like it. I thoroughly enjoyed putting this together. I really hope it's an inspiration to you. Again, using everything in my stash. It's just another way to upcycle, recycle what you have to create beautiful, pretty things for your home. I hope you've enjoyed it. Have a great week and I'll see you next time. Bye.